Hi there, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Beneath the Lift Tower. My name is Charles McGillivray, and as always, I'm joined by Simon Stacey and Jess Keble. Just a bit of housekeeping before we get started. Please remember to follow us on social media and subscribe to us on the platform in which you get your podcast from. This is going to be this season's last episode because, well, it's the end of the season. We'll probably come back with some international specials over the summer, but this will be your last weekly one for a little while. So we're going to get through a roundup of the season, but going to cover off a bit of news, etc., as well. But first of all, how are you both doing?
Good, thank you, mate.
Good, thank you.
Good. You've seen the international squads, I can assume?
Yeah.
Indeedy.
What do we think of the Saints representation?
It's fair. I think, yeah. Are we still counting Ferbs? It's 6 for England, isn't it? So, yeah. Pollock's ready on the bench for the box to destroy, apparently. I can't wait. I hope he scores. I cannot wait to see that. If he scores, hilarious, because I think they're fearing him. They're scared of him. You only talk about someone when you're scared of him, don't you?
Yeah, well, it's funny that I saw a thing, an interview, I'm not sure where the clip was from. It would have been one of the podcasts, etc. But of Shog Brits, the former Sarries player, saying that his son's got a Pollock haircut. You know,
he went to his haircut.
Very funny, but yeah.
Genius.
I think the interesting call with the England squad is, you know, the fact that Coles is obviously playing, which is well deserved, and he's quality and he should be playing. But to get him in, they've moved Chesham to 6.
That was always. I hadn't even seen it. Is it Martin at 4?
Yeah.
I would always have done that because he was an absolute beast against us. So him and Coles in the second row, and you have to move Big Red onto the 6. You have to. Because he might be one of them, but he's been quality all year, hasn't he?
I think it's hard to drop either Chesham or Coles, but I'm not sure they're a natural partnership in the second row.
Yeah.
They bring similar attributes in just different ways, but having like a workhorse bit of a brute in George Martin is almost an essential item to an international side.
He's huge. He's absolutely massive, isn't he?
Yeah. So it's just bulk more than anything. He's a bit like JJ to some extent, isn't he?
Yeah.
He adds that sort of attribute rather than the tall line out sort of giraffe running around the pitch. He's a bit more of a brute on the pitch and had such physicality that I think you need it. But but then obviously in doing so, the back row sort of then becomes there's not enough room for the chosen one, which I can't quite get over based on current form.
Yeah, man of the match in the final, and you don't get picked for England, but he's still young. And maybe he's probably done it just to keep him out the limelight. But me, all day long, I'd have played him because just to back up what he's saying, all the South Africans have been baiting him, saying that they're going to destroy him. I'd have started him, and he would have ran rings around all their big old chunky boys, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Tom Curry was definitely one of the best players in the world 3 years ago. I just think the form's probably switched on those two now.
Yeah,
it's just club rugby as well, isn't it? Like Sale have not been playing very well either, so your form will drop because your team's not playing very well. So we've won the league, so it's obviously you would think that, but then my feelings on Mr. Borthwick. So he's not going to pick the best team, is he? He never has done.
No, that would be his one consistency. Yeah.
I also wonder if some of the not that any of it's Pollock's fault, but I also wonder if some of the kind of discourse around him has meant that he's not willing to put him in for 80 minutes. That perhaps that factors in somewhere in his head, like the idea of like they're going to target him and we don't want to risk that, so we'll do a half an hour off the bench situation instead of. I still think it's the wrong call. I think I've said it before. Like you bring him on for the last 30, there's 50 minutes that you've missed of him probably topping all your charts for like all the stuff that he's supposed to do. But I just imagine that Borthwick's probably not naive to like some of the discourse around it, and even like you said, like I know Berger was kidding, but he was probably right in that they kind of want to go after him a little bit. So I wonder if that factors in a way, because I suppose he might have seen like Pollock's reaction, for example, in like the Leicester away match, and maybe thinking that's the sort of thing I don't want. So I don't know. We're not in the camp, as it were, when they're making the decisions. But I mean, it's hard, isn't it? 'Cause like you said, to get you said you can't drop Coles, you can't drop Chesham. And like I said, you want to get them in there, and Martin I think's been playing really, really well. And then you've got Curry and Earl, and like I also think Earl, at least in terms of England, is kind of undroppable as well with the way that he's played. So yeah, it's tough calls, isn't it? Like for me, I feel like, and maybe it comes down to like fitness and how much time they've played. But for me, like it's JVP over Mitch doesn't make any sense to me. Like that's the one out of all of them that I thought was just nonsensical. Like I don't think Van Poortvliet's even the second best, like, beyond Mitch. I think he's quite far off of that actually. So it's like if you're going to bench Mitch because he's not played a lot, fine. But I don't think the person they've put on is good enough to be in that squad.
No. You got to remember that Mitch did play probably shouldn't have played 70 minutes, should he, in the final? He was never going to play that. So he might be not fully fit. And going back to Pollock, why wouldn't you play him if you want him to be targeted? If he's targeting him, you're leaving gaps in the midfield. So I don't get it personally. And I reckon he's the only player in the squad that will give you 80 minutes of solid rugby. He never tires. The boy is a machine.
Yeah, that's like one of his main strengths. Like, yeah, he has a massive impact off the bench, but one of his main strengths is he just is relentless. The workload is sets him apart from everyone else. So why you're almost like not getting the best out of him by not playing? And as you know, as sort of Tom Curry and Ben Earl have been two of England's best players over the last, say, 5 years, and that's probably why they're being picked, because they've got miles in the jersey. But if you base it on the last season, Pollock's outstripped both of them, I think, by some distance. So it's just it's sort of a unreadiness to pick on form and sort of picking on some of your favourites and stuff. And I agree, but I think Mitchell will be fit enough. I mean, he did 70 minutes in a final and played pretty well. I mean, and then you're picking Finn. You're giving him the keys to the Rolls Royce. Why not his teammates? So you'd have, Mitch, Finn, Tommy, and Verbank running the show. Like they're pretty adept at doing that together. So why would you not? Why would you not go with that?
It's an interesting one as well, because I can also foresee that, like, if Van Poortvliet's struggling to hold the reins, then I think that could be a quick substitution. That there's a possibility that's like, right, this is not working. We've got to get not just someone who's experienced, because obviously Mitch is fully that now, but someone who is and has proven themselves for like club and country. But I suppose the issue I sort of have with the England team as a whole is I don't think it's that great. Like as an overall, like seeing the Saints guys is great, but like I don't think Jamie George, for example, has been a very good hooker for a long time. I don't like Murley on the wing. Freeman in the centre when he's been the world's best wing is a bizarre choice to me, like moving him around. Not a huge fan of Atkinson in the centres. Like I think there's other players that are better. So, it's kind of, I sort of look at it and think, I don't think that's a winning team anyway. I mean, they might totally surprise us. And obviously I totally hope that they do. But I wouldn't say I look at that squad and think I'm majorly excited by it anyway.
I think George is, I fully agree with you, but then I would also argue, I mean, I would go with Cohen Dickey, but I don't think there's any hooker in the Prem, that is light years ahead of anyone else standing out. I mean, Curtis Langdon, when he's been on form, has probably been the best, or been playing and fit, has probably been the best, but he's not played a lot this year. Then you've got the added air of they've given Itoje the summer off, so you get falling back to try and test it. It's like basically like Ben Stokes being kicked out of the England team, giving it back to Joe Root because there's no one else who can take on the mantle. You look at, the thing is, if I was picking England side, I'd probably have, and this is really painful to say, but I'd probably put back Ollie Chesham as captain of England. Like that's really painful to say, but I think you got to build a side going into the World Cup. I'd probably build it around him. And that's very painful. But and there's certain things I don't like about him as well. But I mean, I think going backwards to George is basically just saying, well, he's got it until Itoje's back. Where I think if you gave it to Ollie Chesham, at least you've suddenly got a bit of a rivalry for the, a bit of a challenge, a bit of competition for the captaincy. But maybe they don't want that in the group. Maybe they want to all just get in line and operate. But
personally, it might be contentious me saying this. I don't think we'll miss Itoje. You know, I'm not a massive fan of his anyway. He can be immense on his day, but he doesn't seem to be the player he was. I don't think he's a very good captain either. So I get the George call because, like you just said, I probably would have gone Cowan Dickey, but George at line out, that's the only thing he does really, isn't it? He's really good at throwing at the line out, but other than that, and he's a big lump.
That's the thing, though, is
a bit
as I actually think, if you look at the stats, I think he's probably one of the worst for successful lineouts at the moment. Towards that back end of the season, he was atrocious. I think I watched one Saracens game and I think they lost all of them. I actually think his form's been really poor leading into it. And then the issue is that once you make him captain, you sort of force your own hand. Because I agree. I don't think that any specific hookers have stood out over others, but I still think there's maybe at least Cowan Dickey and probably Langdon, maybe a couple of others that I think are ahead of George. But like you said, they're trying to go for we've given Itoje the summer off, which is absolutely the right call. Like, he's not the player he was, but there's lots of factors that have obviously been mentioned a lot about, issues, in terms of like losing family members and stuff that kind of, I think, just put him in a situation where he's just burnt out. So, them giving him the summer off makes total sense. But yeah, they had the opportunity to do something a bit different. And I agree. Like, I said it after after we played Leicester that I was really impressed with the way that Chesham led that team, and what he was like on the day. And I think he'd be a great fit for England captain. But yeah, like you said, they're going for I suppose it's difficult when your first opponent is the Springboks. You sort of, I suppose they feel like they don't want to rock the boat too much, but I would argue that against a team like that, you probably need to rock the boat a little bit, like rather than going for like what's expected of you sort of all the time. But
when this is an old story, right, from when Ian McGeechan was the coach of the Lions back in, I want to say 97. You can correct me, Si, but when he picked the Lions captain for that tour, his sole decision making was based on who is going to knock on the dressing room door of the South African side and intimidate them, right? And who is going to intimidate the Boks more? Little chubby Jamie George or the monster Ollie Chesham, like, who is big and enormous and a tiger, etc. Right? It's a non-debate for me. Like you say, Chesham has led Tigers very well last season, and that is in itself an attribute. Jamie George is a very nice chap, and does it bring the physicality on the pitch? No. You talk about his lineup throwing. Yeah, how much of that is because they often go quite a safe catch at Sarries. How often.
I think
I don't think he's anything special at lineup. I think he's good and functional. It's not like when Dylan was throwing and Dylan got what do you get, like 52 straight in a row or something, where he hit. It's.
I said about a couple of years ago on here. I said I think his time has come. Then I think when they toured out, didn't he go to Argentina last year?
Yeah, he probably
did.
I was
like, why are you taking a 30-plus-year-old Jamie George to Argentina? You need to blood some youngsters like Kurt. Was Curtis injured? I can't remember.
He got injured on that tour.
Oh, he did, yeah. But I'd have had him on the bit. I don't get it, but it is what it is. They've gone for his Borthwick's gone for his old mates, hasn't he? Because he used to play with them.
I think some of the selection it's very much like they want to build. If you've had time in the jersey, sort of keep the jersey. Like we saw it with George Ford when he had no real right to have the England jersey after the summer tour. He played on the summer tour against weakened Argentinian side and the US side, and therefore sort of kept the jersey when Finn was a line. And it seems that seems to be they're so desperate for consistency on selection, they're ignoring form. I don't think the side is that unexciting. I think Tommy at 13, he's done really well for them there. And they have a lot of talented wingers, so it's sort of finding best players on the pitch. I think Murley, at his best, is a very exciting player. He's just had a tough year because Quins have been awful. And I've Seb Atkinson's a pretty solid player who's done all right in the jersey. He's not Fraser Dingle, but so it just seems like they're rewarding people for having worn the shirt last rather than who's the best player. But anyway, I feel like we can get on to another point.
I was just saying it's part of the issue, isn't it? It's like we can say that lots of these players are pretty good, they're pretty decent. Like that ain't going to win you a World Cup. Like having a squad that's decent. Like I question obviously like because like, obviously this is not the World Cup, but they're obviously building towards that. Um, and so I think I kind of have that a little bit in my mind where I think like, for example, Jamie George shouldn't be the hooker in my opinion for England in a World Cup. And I look, I'm sure Freeman's going to play really well. It's just when you've got the issue I think you've got is there are better centres than Freemo at the moment just because Freemo hasn't played that position, and Freeman absolutely outclasses Murley. So I suppose that's kind of the question of sort of where, because like they said again, Murley's good, but I wouldn't say he's been that great for England enough that I would have slotted him in. But yeah, it's just one of those, isn't it? Really.
You could have gone Dinglers at 13 and Freeman on the wing, and I'd have probably agreed with that would be better, you know. So
I mean,
yeah, but the problem is England
not
don't have an identity, do they? You don't know what they're even trying to achieve,
Nope.
and that's
No.
a bigger issue than the selection. People get
Yeah.
overwhelmed with selection, and they overthink it. The reality is you could pick 15 players, like with Saints, you can pick any 15. You know exactly how they're going to play and what they're looking to achieve. They've got a DNA, as the club calls it, but England don't have that.
Nope.
You do nothing. There's nothing inspirational about it because you don't know what they're even going to go out and trying to do.
And I know we've we obviously want as many Saints players in there as possible. So that there's I suppose a slight bias on that thing. But I think you kind of nailed it on the head with you've got Finn at number 10. Why on earth would you swap out the Saintsman at number 9? It boggles the mind. Like
Yeah.
You want the 9 and 10 axis. I think is I wouldn't even say I think probably objectively is like the most important axis in a team in terms of how they play and pulling the strings. And you had a 9 and a 10 that have been playing so well together over the past 3 seasons, really, like basically since Finn came, that won 2 Prem titles and have got to a European final. It's like, oh no, we'll split them up. We're not going to put them together. We'll just split them up. I think that just goes right to the core of, like they said, England's problems is that you need to build the team around not specific players necessarily, but like partnerships, people that work well together. Like I'm not saying you need to have a 1 to 15 Saints team. I'd love to, but it's never going to work that way. But a 9 and 10, and you've got. I'd still say that Mitchell is the best 9 in the country, and I would say that Parlin's probably actually second. But then even third, I'd probably still have like a Ben Spencer or someone like that. Like I wouldn't have Van Poortvliet. So for me, it's crazy to split that duo up and then put someone in that I don't think form wise should even be in there. So it's it's a question, isn't it? Of like you said, I don't know what they're trying to achieve because I would look at that team and I'd think, well, they're not trying to achieve a win because I'm not convinced they've got I'm not convinced they've got the right partnerships together to achieve that. So like I said, hopefully, it is an aging Springbok side. Like, a lot of those players in there are not young. So who knows? Maybe they can run them ragged, but I don't look at that team and instinctively feel like they're going to beat South Africa. But anything can happen on the day.
It's all on Steve Borthwick, isn't it? It's Borthwick ball. That's it. He would be the best, probably one of the best forward coaches in the world. He's not a head coach. He doesn't know how a team can play. But taking our boys, you saw what he did to them last time. And it's just, I hate to say it, Charles won't care because he's Australian. But this England does not excite me. And I bet Charles would say I'd rather not have any Saints in that team because they could all get a nice rest and be ready for the next season. But
it
just makes no sense to me, the team selection. And my thoughts on Mr. Borthwick. Cracking player, brilliant leader, not a very good head coach. But that's it. That's my opinion.
It just boggles belief as well because it's so inconsistent. He was moaning about Ireland having such a consistent team because the team plays with each other when they're together at Leinster, so they're building up these familiarities. You could have an 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, which is the core of your team. And you could even, and then you include your second row and you could even have a hooker that are all from the same club and then build the extras around that. And surely that is a no-brainer when that team has won 2 out of 3 premierships, finished top, consistently over 3 years, got to a European final. They've all got all the experience you could need at the top level of the domestic game. It's just about letting them take that next step to the international game. Is there enough of a differential between Dingwall and Atkinson to justify Atkinson playing? Probably not. Is there enough of a distinction between, Coriol, Earl, and Pollock to justify not playing Pollock if you're going to build up on those foundations, like Jess said. Is there enough of a differential between, JVP and Mitchell? I mean, JVP, I will give credit, has got better in the playing for Tigers over the last year. In the same way, except Stewart's got better in the Tigers jersey over the last year. They're just not as good as Mitchell and Furbank at playing rugby, right? If you're going to play kick chase, then pick them. Don't pick one and not the and then the other or the other. Like, it makes no sense. You either pick if you're going to play kick chase rugby, pick Van Porfleet and Stewart.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's then you're starting to define how you're going to play and the way you want to play. Don't go, well, have one of them and one of them, and then, well, they're not going to be compatible because you're not getting the best out of either of them. Kick chase, so like Murley, for example, is not a kick chase player. So you've got Van Porfleet, who's a box kicking player who's done really well for Leicester playing that game, and then you've got Murley, who, yeah, he'll chase hard, but I wouldn't say he's an aerial expert. And then you've got Roebuck from Sale, who's brilliant in the air, obviously not there. Stewart, brilliant in the air, not there. Like, it's like they're picking a side on isolation. They're not picking to a game plan or to an identity, or it's like, oh well, Tom Curry is a really, really good 7. He's probably the best 7. Or what's it called? John Hayes. He's definitely it's slightly different front row, but Joe Hayes. But like, John Hayes is a throwback to an Ireland title, actually.
Monster there, isn't you?
Yeah. But like, that's what you get. You just get a lack of like coherency with England. Like, what are they trying to? Anyway, we've said it enough. But maybe we can comment about another good news that our newly signed winger will be in the Italian squad. We could end up with 2 Italian international wingers next year.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And our loose head, obviously.
And obviously Fisketti, Daniele.
That was a no-brainer. It's like you said, he's great for Saints. He's good for Saints, but you put him in an Italian shirt and it's like he's off. Like, he's so good. So yeah, totally get that. And obviously, like you said, I think I saw online that Tadara said he was hoping to be back for sort of October time. I think he said at the parade he was looking at October time, the same as Big Trev. So yeah, having him back, him hopefully being able to do. Obviously, that's not a full season because we'll be about a month, I suppose, in by then. But yeah, hopefully, if he can get a good run of games, he's probably going to get himself back in contention. And then I think the person I'm the most overjoyed for is Rory. Like, not just that he's getting in, but that he's also going up against good opposition, because they tend to have a thing of they drop him when they're up against. And I don't really like this phrase, but sort of the tier 1 nations. They drop him when they're playing a tier 1 group, and then they stick him in when they put like 100 on Portugal, for example. And I think you're just not going to get the best out of him. So him going up against Argentina is really, really exciting, and I'm really happy for him that he's got himself in there, because he's just been like magic for Saints this year.
Yeah, and how much of that I think might be the fact that Finn Russell's not playing. I think it's like they see. I think they both bring similar magic a bit, in a sense. They both play that second playmaking role, and so when you have, it's almost trying to squeeze them both into teams. Roy's just really unlucky that the role he brings at centre doesn't really work with Finn. But then when you play Tom Jordan at 10, well, you probably do need a bit of extra distribution inside. So and I'm sure he'll step in at first receiver a bit as well and stuff like that. But it's like you say, that's brilliant to see him, because he deserves to do it. He's been outstanding for us all year.
I reckon he's probably we've said it loads of times, probably the most underrated player in the Premiership. Not just in I just think in the Prem, he's just insanely talented, and he should have perhaps by now.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, though. He is appreciated in the Prem. I think it's just the game is so international level focused that you don't get your plaudits unless you achieve it at that level. Unless you're Danny Cipriani or something. It's like so many great players in the Premiership who don't get the opportunity to show themselves at international stage, seem to just get nowhere near the praise they should warrant, because people judge everything on international rugby.
Yeah. So it should be a good day of. Yeah. Is it just across one day, or is it across 2 days? There's definitely a lot of matches tomorrow.
A lot of matches Saturday.
Sorry, well. Saturday. Why do I think it's Friday today? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, exactly. And then taking one step back from international rugby to European Champions Cup rugby. I mean, we're playing the same teams again. No real change there. The Bulls, Stade Francais, another French team in Montpellier. I mean, it's tough, isn't it?
What's the point of being top seed? It's supposed to give you an easy draw. Nothing's easy in Europe, is it? Well, we class Bulls as European still, don't we, somehow? But yeah.
Very southern tip of Europe, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and Bath as well. That's just exactly what you need, isn't it?
I guess it. No, well, we don't play Bath, will we?
We don't play Bath.
Sorry,
so
yeah. Oh yeah.
Bath are probably loving that slightly because they don't have to play any tier 1 nation. But as soon as our name came up in pool 4, I guarantee all the other English clubs are like, get us in pool 4 because we will avoid. And at the end of the day, we are still avoiding the teams you kind of want to, right? Like we had Bordeaux in the pool stages last year, and I'd like to avoid them for as long as possible. It's a tough pool. I don't think it's the toughest. I look at pool 1 and I think Leinster are a great side, Glasgow are a really good side, so are Leicester. Like there are some great matchups coming in some of these pools. To be fair, like it actually looks kind of exciting.
It's all going to be determined, in my view, based on the home and away allotment.
Yeah,
the balls at home is very different to the balls away.
Yeah,
well, we obviously beat them both in both scenarios, but
yeah, exactly.
Traveling to Pretoria and playing at altitude and winning is still a tough ask, isn't it? And the same with Montpellier, for example. Away Montpellier in their massive ground could be a real tough ask, but you sort of back yourself at home. Cardiff home away should be a slam dunk. So let's get them as the away.
I mean,
I wouldn't mind Stade away. Take the missus to Paris. That'd be nice.
Well, I did that last year. And it was
I did that last year. So I want something else.
Didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose the only thing is if you're, and this is no offense to Gloucester, but if you're Gloucester, you're just crying because you're in there with that Bordeaux, and you don't want that, do you?
You say that, but they weren't even in the final of the French league, were they? I'm guessing they fired everything at the European Cup.
I'm assuming they must have done. Yeah, it must have been a bit like. I mean, it'd be interesting for Saints. Like I personally think that they should obviously target both, but I think Europe should be the key focus this year. And when you've done the Prem 2 seasons out of 3, but you've gotten to a European final, there's got to be a good appetite to want to. And like you said, you're a seed now as well. So if you can get, obviously, what you'd really love is one of the top 2 seedings at the end of the pool stages, so you can even get a semi at home. But where you are, you're definitely going to get your round of 16 in your quarters at home. So you want to kind of really push. You kind of want to push on, but it'll be interesting.
It's only if we get through the group winning and finishing.
No, yeah, of course.
It gives us the advantage, but the seeding gives us an advantage at this point. It doesn't give us an advantage if we don't deliver and win those games. And I mean, but the fact that like Gloucester are in it is a bit of a farce, in my opinion. Anyway, like they need to cut having 8 teams from all 3 leagues. I think it's too many teams. Like they want to shave the season. Yeah, they want to shave the season, don't they? Well, that's the place to shave it. Have 3 tiers of European rugby with only the best teams going into the top one rather than 8.
It should have stuck as the top 6. Like
6 is too many, though, isn't it? Really? How is that a champion?
I mean, but it was always even when it was like the great sort of Heineken Cup. It was always top 6 of each. And things like that. But like I said, like you look at someone like, and maybe even, I don't know what Sale are going to be like next year, but if they're anything like next year, you sort of look at them being in it as well, and you just think, well, like I suppose the only positive.
That's
the only positive. I suppose the rule change I do like though is that I think it's the top 3 make it in, and then it's the best people afterwards, irrespective of where you cut. So it used to be the top 4 from each pool, but you might get a person in 4th who got less points than like a person in 5th of another pool. So now they're doing it as like just the next best, which I think they're aiming to try and make it a bit more competitive, aren't they?
Is that what it is then? Because I read it as point. They said points scored, so is that league points scored, which makes sense.
I don't. The thing is, the problem is you watch something, and it could just be 10 minutes, but they stretch it out. The draw, so you zone out for a while. I sort of zone out and zone in, but I think it was top 3 from how many pools are there? There's 4 pools. It was like the top 3, and then it was the next best placed people after that, irrespective of what pool you're in. Whereas
Right.
it used to just be the top 4 from each pool, and then you had a situation where a club could get in and they might be on 4 on like 5 points, but someone might be 5th on 6 or 7 points, but they don't make it in just because of the idea is to make it more competitive, because you make so many people get through, don't they, to the round of 16, and like one plays 16, and so you might end up in a situation of like Toulouse versus Gloucester or something. You just think, what's the point? Like, so
Yeah.
the aim is to just tighten it up a bit.
If you have a group where one team is just getting beat every week, then the teams at the top of that tier are all going to have more points. Whereas if you have a conference where everyone's beating everyone, they're actually the teams that you want to progress, aren't they? So you sort of it makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. I'd cut that format back and just have it top 4.
It's way too complex.
Semi-finalists from each plus the winner. And you've got and then have the Challenge Cup winner, for example, and you can get a tournament out of that rather than 8 from each. Just bonkers.
It's about money, mate, isn't it? That's the thing. It's money, money, money.
Yeah, it is. But it's got to. They don't make any money in that tournament. So what's the point? I know. I think that they make more money now because of the South African investment and Investec and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Competition should still be a bit of the priority of it, shouldn't it?
But then they probably
make it a better tournament.
They probably lose some of that money from the South Africans, so they then have to pay to house them over here for ages, because sometimes they have to stay over here for long periods of time, don't they? All of the knockout things have to be from a certain stage, have to be in Europe. They can't have them there, so it's probably there's definitely expense to it as well.
But I think all that expense sits with them.
They should do like what they do in football with the Champions League. Like they get all the teams from the different countries. So they should get the Hurricanes, the Saints, Leinster, and Toulouse, and Bordeaux. I suppose they won the Heineken. I'm just playing a little tournament to see who's the best league winners.
Yeah, I have a different view on that, but I agree with you. Like, so you're basically saying that there should be a Club World Cup, which there is coming. There is going to be a Club World Cup coming in, and it's going to be every other year or something. But I disagree. I think it should be an annual competition whereby you get the best teams, the best. So the Champions Cup winner plays the Super Rugby winner, for example, every year, but you have to find a way of getting the Japanese and the American teams, etc., into that system somehow. But you then have every year you have a final for the World Champions Rugby. Like every year, it's like a Super Bowl moment, isn't it? Every year, who is the best in the world? All roads lead to one game. The Titan to be the best team in the world. Every season you start again. Whereas if you have it like every 2 years, you're like, what is this? We've got to be excited this year because there's this competition. But wait 2 years till it happens again.
Well, yeah, because that's a bit silly because the defending champions could now be like not even in it because they might have dropped form, so they wouldn't be in it because they've obviously got to wait a year. So
you also get it. You get it from the fact like they've obviously picked the form over a period of time, like over a 2 year period, right? So if you you could be a team that's like top of the league, win everything, and then the next year all your players have gone away, be still in the World Club Championship. Like just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Every year, every team starts out with the ambition of being crowned the best team in the world. Like,
I wonder who would come out winners if you did. I don't know how you match it up, but Leinster, Saints, Toulouse, and Hurricanes, because they're all the 4 winners of the leagues, aren't they? So is that right?
Yeah, I mean Bordeaux won I'd go Bordeaux the Hurricanes would be the game.
Bordeaux.
What game that would be? Like, who doesn't want to watch that?
Yeah.
I know. I don't think you have to have like a competition. You've already had the competitions. You've already got the top 2 teams. Just let them play each other. A line of season so you can get to that.
I was just trying to get away getting Saints to play the Hurricanes. That was all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So think about, because it wouldn't come around every year, but think about it, if you won the Champions Cup, the game you'd get to play the Hurricanes in Hong Kong or something. Like, think of the occasion.
Yeah.
You create memories. Yeah. But anyway, we better move on to discussing the season, because that's sort of the whole point of this. We're gonna go through a number of the aspects of the season and just discuss our favorite bits, really, because it's been one hell of a season. we can't get too used to winning, because it took us a long time to get the first one, and then took us a very long time to get back again. And to get 2 titles in 3 years and be in 3 major finals is a real highlight, and we can't expect it to keep going on, but we should celebrate it while we've got it. And so should we start with like best moment of the season? And if we say lifting the trophy is not allowed,
yeah, can't happen. God.
And you can't say a result either, a moment.
A moment. Oh god, these are always tough because I can never remember anything. That's the problem. It's like you get so emotional, you've come out of it the other side of it. You're just like,
I'll go. It's probably more important. Mine probably Finn. Was it Finn's try at Exeter?
Away, yeah.
That's like sort of a massive result, because obviously we drew at home, and then like for points like, I think that moved us clear of Bath at the time as well.
Yeah, I think if you're picking a moment as well, it'd be Henry Pollock kicking the ball out in the semi-final.
Yeah. On video, actually, I was right in front of me.
I think that was such an epic game. Then that was the moment of it, really, wasn't it? But
they leaped on won it, I think, afterwards.
Say again?
I think he then leaped on Freeman afterwards. He ran over to him and jumped on him.
Yeah. I think the other moment that was pretty amazing was the Hendy length of the field v Quins to turn that fixture around. That was pretty spectacular, wasn't it?
It wasn't. There's so many. Problem is, there's so, and it's not being like bragging. The boys play such good rugby. There's so many. You'll probably forget 50 because you remember games like the final. The finals just happened, so you're like, well, that wasn't a good game, but we still won it. So, but I mean, like your brain just goes, after we finish recording this, we'll go, oh, there was that. It'll be that moment, won't it? But yeah.
What about you, Jess?
I think I'm gonna go for Bellows 2 tries against Leicester at home. It was like, he came on as 15, didn't he? It was just like announcing himself as like, this is why they've signed me. This is, why I'm here and what I can do. And yeah, I still remember that to this day, like the cheer that got when he scored those 2 tries.
The little bounce.
The moment of that was the bounce that just went completely the right way for him.
Yeah.
Like I say, never trust the bounce of a rugby ball, eh? But yeah, that was amazing. Well, if you're going to go, I'll go both of those. Beating them at home twice, that's the best moment of the season. Like Charles always says, it's the game he looks for, and it's same as me. Beating them, especially like the semi-final, that was banging. The Franklin's Gardens was absolutely insane, the atmosphere. So probably that, if we're going for a big moment, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of game of the year, I can't think of another one other than the Tigers game, like the semi. That it's unparalleled, really. There isn't a game, even the final doesn't come close to that semi-final for me. I thought atmosphere was just on point, result was amazing, performance was quality. The sound of the roar of the crowd, like by far, in my view.
And they want to remove that and move it to Liverpool and Brighton. What I'm saying?
We've just if you want us to discuss that, just listen to the last episode, because that was off.
Yeah, I think if I'm thinking away games, I think the away win at Bath in the Prem, I think for multiple reasons, really. It's an away win at Bath, and I think that really set us up for like that second half of the season, really, in terms of how strong we were, and we just kind of pushed on from there. But also just how much it kind of showed to everyone, really. Like we know that as fans, because we see lots of these players week in, week out, but just how good the squad is as a whole. Like, not just the depth of it, right? Not just, you've got X amount of people that can play in this position, but just how bloody good all of them are. Like, that was such a good performance. Like, probably, I would argue, like, probably one of the best performances of the whole season, and it was the quote unquote second team, that we kind of sent down there. As a way of like, well, it's away at Bath. How much confidence do we actually have? Let's chuck some people in, and boy, did they turn up and deliver. And yeah, just I think, did they say in the end that we're like 8th out of the 10 clubs in terms of spending, in terms of
Yeah,
wages in the player cap. Like to be able to do something, not just lift the trophy, but to be able to go to a team like Bath where they've put their first team out because they obviously we both needed the win, and just to show up that way and to be honest, to just completely ran over them, really, didn't we? It was a big win. Usually it tends to be the 43-41 or whatever the score always seems to
yeah.
be when it's us and Bath. But not that day. But yeah, I think that was just it was such a good performance. It just made you realise like how much talent there is in the squad. And yeah, we're losing some people at the end of the season as you always do, but God, there's a lot of talent to fall back on in that team in terms of where we can still go over the next couple of years. And I think that one game really helped encapsulate sort of where this club is at the moment.
And it shows you, like, talk when we went back to the comment we had about England and what have you. That team went down and didn't play a specific way because we were quite, like you say, quote unquote under strength or whatever. They went out and played the Saints way. They played out the game that every week they try and put on the pitch regardless of who's in the jersey, and played amazingly well. It was coming of age for McParland, for example, and look at the end of the season that he had. But that's the clear thing that's been built over the last 3 years, if not longer, probably longer in working, but over the last 3 years, you think it's probably there really establishes this is what this side does. This is how
Yeah.
they try and play. This is who they are. This is their identity, their DNA, whatever. And regardless of the shirt on the back, the name on the shirt, whatever, that's the way the
Yeah.
side play.
Yeah,
That game really highlighted that, I think.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like you said, we know that Fremo and Finn and Ferbs and Mitch and all these guys, we know they're all going to play like that because we see them do it week in, week out. But to see, like you said, a very different looking team go out and do the same thing just makes you, and like because of that, I also obviously like got to mention the coaches, like the job that they do to basically breathe that into every player that comes through the academy or joins the team or whatever it is. It's they let them be themselves, but at the same time, and I think because of that, it allows everyone to kind of transition into playing in that Saints way. Like you can totally see looking at them that they fully believe in it. Like there's no doubt that if they can go out and put that on the pitch, it's going to beat pretty much every team in the league, which is essentially what happened. Like, yeah, we didn't win all of our fixtures, but we beat every team at least once, and a lot of them twice. So
Yeah, they have this
they,
saying when they're like, we only have to put 7 out of 10 on the pitch and we'll win. Like, that's an extreme level of confidence, isn't it? Like they've said, the multiple players have said that throughout the season. We know if we put a 7 out of 10 on the pitch, we'll win. Like, I think that possibly inaccurate, but the coaches have got them. They fully believe it. They fully believe in the talent within the squad.
Yeah, it's not even cockiness, though, is it? It's not cockiness. It's they know they're that good, and if they can do a 7 out of 10, they will beat anybody. And I think on our day, if we could play like we'll beat anybody. If we play like we played against them at the Road in the semi-final, there's not many teams. And against, was it Bristol? When we absolutely I can't remember the score now.
Yeah,
it was totally different. But we played some magic rugby. It's different type of opponent, I know. But the way that like Vesti said, doesn't he? Said when they make a mistake, I applaud the knock on or the missed pass because they tried it. They don't have a go at them, and that will always boost you. And that's exactly what they're doing. And it doesn't matter if that's from like an 18-year-old up to a 30-odd-year-old. They're all the same. You've got props like doing dummies and stepping and throwing underarm. It's insane. I've never seen. As you always say, I'm 100 years old. And I've been supporting the Saints for that long. I've never seen us play this brand of rugby like this. I've never been that confident of going to a match and going, we're going to win this. It was always, we're going to lose. We're probably going to lose this. Like most matches, we're down by 5 with 4 minutes to go. We're going to win. I just like, we're going to win. And
exactly.
It's a lovely feeling. I
think you summed it up though about like when people say, "Oh, it's cockiness." I said, but it's not cocky if it's true.
Yeah.
And like it sounds silly, right? But like we've just proven that across the season where we only lost a handful of times, drew one fixture, and like I said, we beat every team in that league at least once, and quite a lot of them twice.
Yep.
Some of them
beating at home year as well. If you count,
and not losing at
the home team. So
So you could argue that either it's not cocky because it's true, or yeah, it's cocky, but they have all of the right to act like that. Essentially, like you can't even criticize it because it's not like they're acting that way and they're not backing it up. Like they've been backing it up for 3 seasons now. You know, Prem title, European final, Prem title. Like it it doesn't get much better than that. Like I said, obviously you wanted to win the European title, but outside of that, we've practically done everything across across the past few seasons. Like, and not even just like titles. Like you know, we mentioned that we've got the balls again in the Champions Cup. Like that balls away win was like magnificent. Like that was so important for the club, just because nobody expected that to happen. I'm not even sure that us as fans thought that that was going to happen for a lot of different, you know, it's a long way to go, it's altitude, etc., etc. It's the balls at home, blah blah blah. And you know, to get that win, just it's a kind of similar to me in terms of the Bath win, even though it was a full strength side, like just encapsulates where the team are. That like they went down with like a level of confidence of like, oh, of course we can beat them. And you know, I personally think it's really refreshing. Like we know there are lots of people out there that don't seem to like it because they feel like players shouldn't be that way, but this team firmly is that way, and I don't see that changing, you know, anytime. And like I know we talk about Pollock a lot, but like he really does encapsulate sort of also where this team is. Like obviously it's difficult to know because he's been with Saints the whole time, but I question if there are any other clubs in the league that would have given him the chance so early on and so quickly as Northampton, just because they've set up an environment that allows players to be that way and to feel confident and to go out and prove why they feel that way. Obviously, other clubs now, as many of them, maybe none of them would like to admit it, but you know, so many of them would probably want a Pollock in their side now. But I wonder how many of them would have given him, because Saints gave him the chance very early. He was what, 18 when he made his debut. Like I don't know how many other teams would have given that opportunity to a kid like that.
Yeah.
And I think it really firmly shows you sort of where Saints is. And now he's an England player and he's a Lion, and he's about to go and face the Springboks. And I don't know if any of that would have happened if he was in another club. So I think, you know, there's lots of bits here and there that kind of show where the club is. But yeah, it's such a great place at the moment.
You could see you've seen him as well. I don't know Jess, but when he was like 15, you knew that boy was special. He was just insane. And that's another person we need to thank who doesn't get a lot of mentions is Mark Hopley. That man is, I don't know what he's doing in our academy, but he just there's no one better. He's producing quality after quality of player, and it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing with Pollock, I think, he's a bit of a generational talent. So it's hard to know, but you think if he'd been at any club, he probably would have come through. It's more some of the other players where you like they're getting the opportunity and they are delivering, whether they would have been given the opportunity. You know, like Craig Wright, for example. You know, Saints basically have had him in the academy for a long time. He's been England under 20s academy, etc., etc. England 20 squad, etc., etc. But that's sort of a position. There's obviously you only can get one of them on the pitch, where clubs sort of stack that position. You might have 4 experienced hookers, and therefore your under 20s international never gets a game and then never develops. You know, and so you lose that opportunity to develop that talent. My Saints don't. They go, right, no, he's one of the, you know, the 4 that we're going to have for the season, and he'll get opportunities. And if he plays well, he'll develop and he'll get better. It's not like we're going to play them until they come good. It's a case of they have to learn the spot and everything. But there will be opportunities derived for almost everyone in the squad. You know, Hendy, for example, would Hendy have been given the opportunities that he's had? Probably not at other clubs. Probably, you know, Pollock. I think he's generational talent. But it's the rest of the squad that they built where you go, well, would that player have got the opportunity elsewhere?
The thing is,
I don't mean that Pollock wouldn't have come through. I mean, like how early it was. More just kind of like they were like, you know, they said you had this 18-year-old kid who'd been sort of tearing it up. They said for like England under 20s, for example, and how many other teams would have someone that young with that personality, like all those kind of factors coming together, how many of them would have just gone, screw it, we're going to chuck him in for his sort of Prem debut and his European debut and just kind of see what happens. Like, I wonder how many teams would have done that, or how many of them would have waited a few more years to decide if he was going to mature. And I'm putting this in quotes because I still think it's ridiculous. Like, how many of them were like, oh, he needs to mature, or he needs to do this, that, or the other. Whereas Saints have never gone in with the idea or the vibe of changing anything about that kid.
I think all of that's external anyway. I think
Yeah.
in-house they know exactly who he is and
Yeah, exactly.
etc. And he doesn't really do anything that outrageous anyway. He just gets
No,
praised
no.
for no reason really. But yeah, I think if we go back to like away games and stuff, I think one of the defining away games of the season, it was definitely not the best away game of the season, but it was defining, was that Tigers away game, at the end of the season, where we got well and truly put in our place physically. Like, you could argue if that doesn't happen, we have a bit of a tussle and we lose by a point, but we sort of showed up a bit.
Yep.
Do we then get the reaction that they went on afterwards and that drove the physicality that was needed, and then that remainder of the season? The Chiefs gave us such a physical test in the final. Like, would we have been able to deal with that in as well if we'd not had the shakedown a few weeks earlier, sort of thing?
Are you trying to say that they did us a favour, so they it's their fault we're champions? They will absolutely hate that.
Well, would we have matched them as well in the semi-final and blown them off the pitch physically if we hadn't have been manhandled a few weeks before?
I think you're right. It was probably a reality check and a kick up the derriere, wasn't it, to say, look, you need to play better and we need to be more physical, or we're never going to win this trophy. And I think you're right. You bang on.
I mean, you never want to lose fixtures, and that's the one you really don't want to lose, whether it's home or away. But yeah, I think that loss and then the follow-up win over Bristol, and I think I said it on the podcast, like, result aside, because it was an off day for Bristol, like, and I don't want to emphasize, like, that we did anything absolutely blew them away. Like, they just didn't turn up for whatever reason. But I think, losing really badly to Tigers, but then beating Bristol for the first time in either home or away in like 2 or 3 seasons, I think it was just, I think, is what set us up to get to that stage. Like I said, you never want it to happen, but those things kind of do happen for a reason. It's like, I look back on the European semi-final against Leinster, not the one we won, the one previously at Croke Park. I actually think how nervous we were and how close we came to winning but still losing was actually kind of the making of us in terms of winning the Prem that year and then getting to the final in Europe the year after. Like I said, you never want to lose, especially in a semi-final, in a European semi-final, but those things happen, and it's what teams make of them and the learnings that they take from them. So the one thing you can definitely see from Saints, because we've lifted the Prem Trophy twice and we've been to the European final, is like they take the learnings that they need to from that, but they actually use it to push on and improve. It's obviously a bit different when you've got teams that aren't able to do that. But we make those losses mean something, and I think that's what's really important. Like, we actually use it as proper fuel, whereas sometimes other teams can become quite insular and they can question their ability and their belief, but that never seemed to disappear in terms of Northampton, and they made the most of those losses, which is, I think, all you can really ask from a team to do, to be honest.
100%. I mean, this side loves a challenge, don't they? Like, I think the harder the challenge, the better the performance has been a consistent theme with this side. Something when they're like, this is going to be a real tough game, but if we win it, it will be amazing, fires them up and you get the best performance. The games where we're expected to win has been the real challenge. Turning those, maybe weaker sides at home into big wins hasn't necessarily been what they've been about. It's sort of, that it's an interesting psychological point of view, but they almost are more likely to play incredibly well away at Leinster than they are at home to Newcastle. And how that works, I don't know, but it just has been a bit consistently a factor of this. And I think that the drive from the coaching group to really improve that away form this season has sort of, they've got it right, haven't they? They've got that mental challenge better. Still could be better, because I think we've had a few close calls when they shouldn't have been, a few heart tremors when we didn't need them. But yeah, they've had to manage it over a long season, and yeah. So if we turn our attention then to individuals for a moment before we finish, individual players of the season, etc. Maybe we should start with the best addition to the squad, the best signing into the squad this season. So whether that's stepping up from the academy or bringing in from overseas, what do we think? Who's had the biggest impact? Who wasn't here like the season before?
That's tough for me. It's between two for me. Obviously, one's obvious, JJ.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like,
JJ and Chick for me, because Chick's
yeah,
leadership. He was at the start of the season. He was undroppable. And obviously, he had to rotate with Pollock and Graham. But yeah, I don't know. I'd go JJ just because what he does. Even though he only plays 20, 25 minutes at the end of the games now, like the final, he was an absolute beast. And the fans just go mental when he comes on. So it's like having a Pollock again, isn't it? The big, massive cheer when he comes on just gives the team a bit. So I'm going to go JJ.
I also think if you think about not just like on the pitch, but like off the pitch, what he's brought, like obviously regular listeners know I'm from Toaster. My local team is Toastestrians. He goes pretty much every week and there's like a coach there. He gets involved in the local in kind of like the local scene and just I think like it's not just like what he does on the pitch, because what he does on the pitch is crazy. Like I said, that break he did in the like final was like majestic. It's like the most majestic thing I've seen that season. Like you talk about someone who's had the biggest impact, and it literally doesn't get bigger, does it? Like like metaphorically and physically. But yeah, kind of like what off the pitch, and also I know his partner, his wife, has also talked about, just how much he loves rugby again, and you can see it like in what he's doing on and off the pitch. Like they've not hidden the fact that he was struggling. It was Stade Francais that it came from, wasn't it? That he was struggling there, had fallen out of love with rugby, and he's come in this season, has fallen back in love with the game, obviously fallen in love with the team, the club, the county, essentially, and is enjoying the heck out of playing the game. And like I said, you can see that on and off the pitch, and yeah, he's kind of slotted in and fit in so well in terms of the way that we play, and like I said, the overall sort of vibe of the team, that I would say. And that's nothing against other people, because like you said, Chick is also a really good option, but I think for me, sort of, it's probably out and out JJ for on and off the pitch, sort of. And also what we've like said, also like I said, it's like that's almost like symbiotic. He gave us something that we really needed, and it felt like we gave him something that he really needed, and that feels really important to me. I mean, I think he got a stickman tattoo after we won. Like the guy's in, he's fully in, and that's all you can ask for. All you can ask for, because you never know what you're going to get with someone that isn't enjoying their rugby, like and like I said, has admitted that. You never know what it's going to be. Either coming over here really works for someone, or it really doesn't. And if it doesn't, what kind of level of player are you going to get? And we just got lucky that this was the right fit for him at the exact right time. And yeah, you're seeing it, like I said, seeing it off the pitch and on the pitch, and that's really great.
Saints went all out for him though, didn't they? They literally went all in. They wanted him. He would have loved the fact that they showed that much effort to try and get him. All I feel sorry for is your barman at the Toastarians, because don't they pay him in beer? Yeah, exactly. I bet the old
we had Toby Tame on, didn't we? And he said they probably wish that they paid him because it would cost less. But like he was there, like we have a beer festival there every year. He was there like pulling pints behind the bar. Like he's like fully invested, and that's, and I'm not just fully invested, but like really quickly seemed to just come in, slot in. I think someone took him to Toes. I can't remember if Toby said it was him or someone else had taken him to Toes to basically like, this is my local rugby club, and for whatever reason straight away he's like, I'm going to coach it, and has just thrown himself into the life of, because this is a rugby county. Yeah, sure, we've got a football team, we've got a cricket team, but it's a rugby county. It has been for a very, very long time, and he's fit in so well with that. And yeah, like I said, us getting a lot out of that relationship and him getting a lot out of that relationship, like it really felt like the perfect match for the whole season.
Yeah, I think it's a slam dunk. I mean, it's definitely him. I mean, it reaffirms that there's a lot of good at the club because of the way he's reacted and the way he's responded, like everything you've just said there, which is, really positive. And it also reaffirms the model of you focus on bringing your own through, and then you cherry pick and you find the right people first to bring into the moment. And Lenny Newman says it always on the radio. He says it a lot, that you sign the man before you sign the player, and it couldn't be more a case. And they went massive for him because of what they missed in the squad from the type of player that we were moving towards and we needed. And that's why you've seen the success of Ed Prowse as well, because that's the move towards a player of that ilk in that position. And so
Yeah.
he was the perfect target to move the squad in that direction of having a player of that ilk. But you can't ever guarantee that it's going to come in and be as successful as a
No.
person as he has been. And then, but I think that's just the coaching and the environment and everything brings the best out of people. So, I mean, we probably only signed a few people really. We're not a club that sign players. So it's not like we've got a billion people we could put forward for this
Yeah.
sort of consideration. But all of them that have come in seem to have done brilliant well. Chicks added huge value as well.
Could be a little note.
Great person as well, by lots of things.
You said promotion from the academy. You could say Todero as well, until he got injured. But
yeah.
Season, obviously, it's a different matter, isn't it?
It's one of those things where he was obviously going really well for Italy in the under-20s and stuff like that, and then the opportunity just arose for him because of the number of injuries we had, and then he ends up being like breakthrough player of the season or something, or nominated because he's just had a hell of a start to the season, didn't he? But
yeah.
So if we move on to let's think we've had best signing, etc. What about worst leaving? Who are we gonna miss the most?
Again, it feels like there's only really one answer, and this is nothing against anyone else that's leaving because all of them leave a hole, right? That's sort of the point. But I think you could ask like 10,000 Saints fans, and you're probably going to get 10,000 George Furbanks back at you. I would imagine.
Oh, gorgeous! For me, George, we are going to miss him, and it's going to be so weird seeing him in a Quinn shirt. But
yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. It's him. I mean, obviously, other contenders are Angus, obviously left earlier in the season. Ram's going to be a big loss. Lee Radford's going to be potentially an enormous loss because he's had a huge impact at Northampton Saints, even arguably as much as Furbank over a 10-year period. Rad has came in and changed so much at the club. So you could argue that he potentially is going to be a bigger loss. But I'm sure whoever's going to step into that role, Jim Henry, is going to step up and do a job. But the impact Radisson had at Northampton has been immense.
Oh, it's insane. We've got to say, really, we won the league because of him. And then obviously we got to the European final and we've just won another league. But you got to say, he's been there 3 years. So you would hope that the person coming in knows how he does things. The boys know how he does things. I know you're not going to, if you're your own coach, you'll try and do your own thing. But why would you change something that works?
I mean,
I think there's more to it than that, though. He's just a special human being as well. You can't replicate Lee Radford.
Like you said last week on the pod, people that don't do rugby league won't understand how big a man he is in rugby league, and for him to come here as a defence coach was an absolute madness. In his, I mean, in reality, because he was coaching rugby league teams. So to come and be like an underling, but then to do such a change, he's been massive, and he will be massively missed. And
I wouldn't call him an underling, but yeah, call him that to his face. I wouldn't dare,
That was the boss, and then you've got your assistant coaches. That's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah. I did read though that this might be alleged. I have to say alleged because I'm not 100% sure that he is sort of a consultant, sort of like an on the books consultant. He's staying in that capacity. Like he is going with Scotland full time, but I wonder if there's sort of like I said, we're promoting from within. So I wonder if for a season or so he's just sort of like a bit like what Boydie did after he sort of left. He was a consultant for a season and kind of popped up here and there. So I don't know if it will necessarily be the last time that we'll see him at the Gardens necessarily. And that's would be a really useful thing. Like I said, you're promoting someone from within, and if you can keep that guy sort of around, even if it's just like a voice in the ear or someone to, sort of chat to and liaise with when you're, getting used to that kind of role. So, it's definitely a big loss.
Maybe underling wasn't the correct term. My bad. He's come from being like the boss man at a club to coming into being an assistant coach. That's what I meant. That was a big thing for him, just to see what he could do in rugby union, and it's absolutely proved exactly the right decision because it's down to him that we've been so successful because we can score tries for fun. We just couldn't stop them going over. So
he's one of those special people really in terms of his ability to deliver defensive coaching and emotional coaching. Like, like you get it from rugby league coaches that there's a different level of leadership that you get with them because they're just so damn hard.
Oh god.
Like, they are, like you put Radders in the same ilk of Farrell or Sean Edwards or or Kevin Sir Kev, etc. They're just outrageously different people. But anyway, yeah, George Furbank is a legend of the club. 10 years in the jersey, captain of the club, outstandingly talented player. But in terms of impact, it's hard to look past Radford as well because we were a bit of a soft touch, bit of we can throw the ball around and play some nice stuff, but we're not going to win anything because we're not going to be able to keep teams out. He came in and we've had 3 finals in his time at the club. That I don't think that's just about organisation of this is how you set up a defence. I think there's an emotional driver involved that he brings to the club as well.
But he's also, like you say, he's also a bloody nice bloke as well. He's so friendly, he's so nice, he's great to chat to, he's so knowledgeable. So yeah, he would be a massive.
I don't think anyone who isn't that could demand the level of respect that he gets. I think if you're a horrible human being, I don't think you can coach anyone because you're not gonna inspire and draw the best out of people. I think the best coaches are the most loved, not people as much as anything, because you will walk over coals for them. If you don't like someone, you're not gonna stick your head in the spokes for them.
I think, I feel like Vesti encapsulates that as well, right? Like, like probably more than anyone, to be honest, because like he's like. It's like I think even the word has been used, like he's genuinely just obsessed with the people that he coaches, and you get the feeling that like the feeling is mutual. Like they absolutely love, I think, having him run their attack, and he absolutely loves watching them. Like it doesn't really get better than that, the amount of enjoyment that you see him getting when he's watching a fixture and like the attack's going well, and then they just seem to would genuinely be mates. Like it's a really I still think it's kind of unique at Saints. Like I agree that like you don't want to be hated, you want to you want people to get on with you so that you can kind of be respected, but there's a level of camaraderie in this club from the coaches down that you just don't see anywhere else. But I mean Vesti just, like I said, just being obsessed with watching the players that in coaching them and getting to watch them week in week out, they are obviously loving their life. The same for Douse. They are so clearly just loving what they're doing right now, and that just all that's going to do is feed down. Like they mentioned that Vesti's like a little kid. I can imagine that just like working with him and being around is probably just like fun 24/7, and like I think that's it's unique because like you think about the England setup and you don't get the vibe that like Borthwick is fun. Like you know what I mean? Like in and I would say that for quite a lot of them, right? Even like I don't know, like a Van Graan at Bath seems like the nicest down to earth person, but I don't know if he'd necessarily be like the most fun. Whereas with Vesti, he does look like he looks like the same in the same way that the academy boys and the players are. Like he's living out his childhood dream, and therefore he's just having the best time doing it because it's what he's always wanted to do, and he's getting the chance to do it. And it just so happens that he's getting the chance to do it with like the most talented bunch of people.
The thing is what you said there. Like we needed video there because mine and Charles' face when you said Borthwick, we were like, "What?"
That's what I mean. Like I don't look at that guy and go, "He's fun."
I think public perception is a big part of it as well. Like I think you could probably argue that Dowson in the public image and the way he presents himself in media and interviews is probably quite stern, quite quite serious. But I'm fairly sure when the changing room doors shut and the beers are flowing, he gets in the most professional manner possible. I don't think he's out on in the early hours with the players or anything like that. But I think he'll talk to them like human beings rather than numbers on a spreadsheet.
I don't even think you have to go behind the scenes to know that he's not stern. I mean, the guy's snacking on Maryland cookies every time he's watching Saints play, whilst Vesti eats Haribo next to him. Like for people for people that like you said that are the coaches for like the champs of England. Sometimes they are so unserious that it just works for some reason. Like and as I said, I think I posted afterwards like the video of like when we were back in the Robber Bar after we'd won, and obviously all the players came back and the coaches came back. Like Dalston Vesti coming out, climbing straight up onto the wobbliest bar you've ever seen, and just belting out, the fields of green, like in front of a packed bar full of people. Like I think, like I said, they're a duo that just works so well together. Like they rub off on each other in the best way, and they play off each other, I think, in the best ways. And yeah,
You two weren't at the parade, were you? Dawson was the only one that didn't have a voice. So of all the people partying, he'd been partying the longest and the hardest, I think. And he was like, yeah, oh yeah, okay. He did not have a voice. So yeah. And you go back to Vesti. Vesti feels every single tackle, every single move, because I remember one match, someone was sat in my seat. So I sat on the end just behind the team, and he came down and sat next to me. He was like he just had 200 bags of Haribo. He was twitching, he was moving, he was kicking, I love that. And that's why
he does feel everything, yeah. Even when they interview him during matches and something happens, he's like, whoa, and he goes and he moves and he can't help himself. But that just seems to work really well with this team. So
yeah. I mean, Dawson has arguably in the professional era set the best ever Saint. Involved in 3 league titles, 2 European finals, both as player and coach. There cannot be many with the resume that he's got as a Saint.
No.
Yeah, I mean, Courtney might have a bit of a debate about greats ever Saint, but and in the professional era, but yeah.
I suppose that you could say
there's not many that say he won it as a player and a coach.
Yeah, I know
we haven't won it as European trophies as him as a coach yet, but that's to come. He obviously won the Challenge Cup, didn't he? Is it Challenge Cup? I forget what they're called back then.
Yeah.
And we beat Guan.
Yeah.
But I mean, I suppose you could probably say Law's probably the best Saints player. If you had to pick like the greatest Saints man who's sort of done everything with the club, then you sort of. Well, I don't think you can look beyond Dows, can you? Just like you said, in terms of what he's done from both perspectives. He's in his own sort of camp. He's in his own camp at the moment. It's sort of like the one who's done it all. So, yeah, and obviously, like deservedly, DOR of the season. I mean, that couldn't have gone to anyone else, really, could it? That must have been the easiest award to pick. Like, it's going to go to the guy that's. It's going to go to that guy.
I don't know why. I know we spoke about this, but I don't know why you would do those awards before. But yeah,
he was definitely. And then it turned out all right anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've had that conversation. Let's not rehash it when we've got to wrap things up. Before we go, we should name Beneath the Lift Tower Player of the Season. So we should come to a conclusion. I mean, a few nominations.
There's only one for me. Unfortunately, it's the same as with the club. He's been on the show recently. It's got to be Litch for me.
I think it's a good shout. I mean, he's been phenomenal, especially at the tail end of the season. He does not let you down, does he?
No.
And his improvement over the course of the year, or over the course of a few years, but coming to fruition this season, he's been phenomenal, hasn't he? He's been exceptional.
Yeah.
I think there are some other contenders though. Henry's had a half decent season. He's put in some pretty good performances. Kemeny has been pretty good. I mean, Alex Coles has been operating on levels that no lock operates on. Finn's had some killer moments. Tommy's just like the best player on the planet. He can do whatever he wants on a rugby pitch.
I was going to say that, like for me, like if I sort of had to pick someone, I'd probably say, and maybe this is controversial, but I'd say like in terms of across the whole season, I think it's out and out Fremo in terms of just what he's done across the whole season. And obviously, I'm also kind of thinking of like he also did the Lions and he's played for England as well, but. That guy's just hit a zone this season that I'm not sure he could. I don't know if he can come down from it at this point. Like I'm not sure he's capable of it. But
I was just basing on the amount of appearances for Saints, because obviously those boys have been away with the internationals. And if you pick the best Saints, but it's Tommy Freeman every year, isn't it? I was just trying to. Well, it is. He's just world class. So I was just trying to go a little off the cuff, different lines.
It's not off the cuff. It's not off the cuff. But it's like. You can't hold it against Tommy for the fact that he's just amazing.
Oh no!
We live in a meritocracy, so like if he's the best, he's the best. But I think impact on the season, someone like Litchfield at the right time, outstanding. And part of it isn't about. It's not like all with the head who's the best player on the pitch. Some of it is with the heart. Who's inspired you the most, who's who's got the crowd off their feet. You know, and I think Lichfield is a great shout, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, he's a good shout, yeah.
Player.
But
He got players played, didn't he, Lich?
he did, yeah, and that tells you a lot.
Fair, to me, that's the best honour you could ever get if your teammates vote for you.
And I think that one and coaches was that Prowse. I feel like they're both the awards that, like,
Charles'
in terms of. But yeah, there's to be honest, you could put forward, like, if you're thinking about sort of like, it depends how you're thinking about it as well. So if you think about someone like who stepped up when we really needed it, like, you can't really look beyond McParland, for example.
I was about to say him.
You know, when Mitchell was gone internationally and with the injury for so long, like, I think what that kid's achieved this season is phenomenal, considering you know, some of the issues that he's even talked about. He had one game in particular where people decide because they're anonymous online they can be horrible, but he got like slated left, right and center, and again, he could have taken that one of two ways. Could have completely destroyed his confidence, or it could have done what it actually did. And he was like, right, I admit that performance was bad, I know what I need to work on. And he's just been sublime since then. Like, don't get me wrong, loved seeing Mitch play for 70 minutes, and you know, we won the title, but I was also genuinely gutted that McParland couldn't do more than 10 minutes, because I was like, this is a guy that deserves to take this team to the end of that fixture, to you know, still be there at the final whistle. And obviously he won't mind at the end of the day. He's had such a big impact on this season, but I actually think that him stepping up is a massive contributing factor to how we were able to keep winning, because it's such an important position, right? Well, I mean, all of them are for different reasons, but I said earlier that 9-10 axis is absolutely crucial, and he stepped up like he'd been playing Prem rugby for 5 years, not a couple. Like, so, you know, it depends how you. Yeah.
It's such like Manny's been tremendous all season.
100%.
You know, like it's so hard to pick an individual. Like, performances when they win you games that are important, like the semi-final, Henry Pollock. Like, I've not seen a better performance. So like, it's so difficult to name it.
It's hard, yeah, it's hard.
But you know,
maybe we should just say, instead of a player of the season, we just are thankful for the whole team for lifting that trophy.
I think we need to name someone, and I think I'm on board with Simon. I think Lichfield embodies everything that's great at this club, and for that reason, I'm happy to say he would get it in my eyes.
Yeah, but it's always, it seems to always be one of the Toms. Like, Lichfield has been really good. Primo's been really good.
Basically,
yeah, Tom or Alex. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's just been such a good season. Like I said, that from start to finish, even the lows, like we've talked about, like, you know, they kind of contributed to how we were able to get the highs at the end of the season. So can't really fault a lot, to be honest. Like, even if we didn't win everything, because at the end of the day, how many teams get through a season winning 100% of their matches? I don't even know if that's ever happened. At least not since I've been watching. So, you know, I actually think to only lose three, at least in the Pro, to only lose 3 and to draw 1 and to win everything else is, it's a pretty crazy good return in terms of percentage wise, isn't it? So, yeah.
One thing I will ask is, if we do the same again next year, can they just not do so many matches where it's on the bloody giving the heart palpitations?
Yeah.
Best. Just do it easy. Just do it easy.
That's what makes it great. That's what you want to watch.
To be fair, you're right, because that's when it means more and you get more into it. When you're winning 100-0, it's boring, isn't it, really? But
exactly.
I also should say as well, the one person we didn't honorably mention, because I suppose over the season, I don't know if it's been his strongest, but I would just chuck Hendy in the ring for winning us a second title. For getting on the pitch, for being on the pitch and being the difference. Big game George. Like, I feel like I just wanted to end on that, because like, he's had a lot of criticism throughout the season, but boy oh boy did he show up in that final day. So
he's always got a moment in him. He's a great watch. Big game Hendy. We normally finish on prediction, so we'll do it one more time. We've just picked who we thought were the best player, I'm not sure we did pick, but we discussed who were the best players of the season.
It's a Tom.
Predict now who's going to be the player of next season.
Ooh.
Or breakthrough player of next season.
Best, you're going to have to go down. There's only one player you think is going to be the best, isn't there? If he follows his trajectory, he's got to be the chosen one.
Yeah.
Chosen one, yeah.
If he's already now, he's got another year, like England, and then another season under his belt. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think if he carries on how he's been going, particularly in the second half of the season, that kid's going to blow the world away next season. Like he's gonna hit a level where people are just going to have to just stop and witness whatever the hell this is. Really,
Yeah.
definitely. Breakthrough wise, is really tough. Is really tough. I think I'd probably throw out Pater because I think we might see a bit more of him because we don't have obviously Ferbs anymore, and we've talked about who it might be in at the 15 slot, but you think about like Fremo's going to continue to go off internationally, so he can't always cover there. That maybe we'll see a bit more Pater, and maybe I don't know, maybe he can push through. I think maybe it's a season too early, but I'm just trying to think of who has at least played and who might push on. He's potentially I think one to watch.
I'm going to go Willis. Is it Willis? I might get his name. I got his name wrong. I got his name wrong.
Lewis.
I was
Jack
mixing
Lewis.
the names up. Yeah.
I think Jack Lewis.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think he scored the first try for England under-20s today.
Yeah, and he's just finished school. He's not 20.
Yeah, he's just finished school. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he is really a player to watch. This is similar scenario to when Pollock was coming through. He's a top player.
He's absolutely massive.
Definitely.
For somebody that's 17, it's just insane.
Yeah, 17-year-old kid being physical in PRC games, boshing off experienced Premiership players is a statement on itself. Give him a year in full-time training. Another son of a former Saint, so that seems to be the route of success. I think he could be a special talent, and we've got enough of them, but I wouldn't say. I think he could be the breakthrough player. Sure.
Yep,
it was the Jack. It was the Jack that got me. Jack Willis. My bad. I meant Jack Willis.
Jack Willis.
Same position. Same position.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, different player to Jack Willis. But he could be a good player. And I think when you add in Ainsworth Cave, another real proper promise. You could, with Pollock and those two as a potential future back row. I mean, eventually, whoever is the England coach, when they sort of wake up and get rid of Borthwick, the way we're going, we could end up with a lot of Saints players in that England squad. And I mean, a silly number.
That could be after this summer, mate, to be fair.
Yeah, well, it could well be. But I think in 5 years' time, there'll be a lot of prime Saints players challenging for England jerseys. But we will see. Anyway. Yeah, it's been a great season. Seasons don't often come as good as that, and so we should be grateful. But hopefully you've enjoyed the year of listening to us discuss Saints action, Saints news, Saints games. We will be back over the summer to sort of cover for a bit of the international games. We'll pick and choose and let you know when they come out. But in the meantime, we'll definitely see you next season, where we can only hope it's as good. So I've been Charles, Jess has been Jess, Simon's been Simon. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. Yeah.